Thank you, Gloria. In recent years, we've seen large quantities of literature coming out for young adults. Some of it's good, and some of it's bad. But this year, we're seeing expanded again, high-quality literature being published. All of the books that I'll be talking about today have been nominated as best books for young adults. The first book is A Bell Song for Sarah Raines. This is Betty Cannon's first book for young readers. And in this book, she tells the story of Sarah, who moves back to her mother's Kentucky home after the suicide of her father during the Great Depression. There, she and her mother must come to terms with her father's death and the complexities of new family relationships. Laura and Howie are the butts of a traditional joke at summer camp in The Goats by Brock Cole, when they're marooned with no clothes on a small island. They escape to avoid being ridiculed in front of the whole camp and learn to draw upon their own inner resources to survive until Parents' Weekend, when Laura's mother will arrive. In Chartbreaker by Gillian Cross, Janice Mary Finch, unable to cope with her depressed mother and her mother's boyfriend, runs away from home and joins the rock band Kelp. She meets their charismatic leader, Christy, who transforms her into Finch, the driving energy of the band. However, in his attempts to manipulate her, Christy oversteps his bounds and Finch plots her revenge. The cover on this book is a good example of one that will ensure readership, with rock music being so popular among this age group of readers. Gillian Cross also has another book that will be of interest to mystery fans and has also been nominated as a best book for young adults this year. It's called Roscoe's Leap. Roscoe's Leap is a decaying mansion where 12-year-old Stephen lives with his eccentric family. When a biographer comes to research the house, he discovers a collection of antique mechanical toys, and one of these is the French Terror, which is a life-size working model of a guillotine. This discovery brings back a horrible memory that Stephen has tried to suppress. Roscoe's Leap is a sophisticated mystery, and it will definitely be enjoyed by better readers. Chris Crutcher's novels have a great appeal for boys, as in his Running Loose and Stoughton, which were both best books for young adults from previous years. In his newest book, Willie Weaver, the star athlete in the Crazy Horse Electric game, has had an accident that has left him physically and mentally handicapped. Unable to cope, he runs away to California, where he learns to understand himself and his handicaps when he enrolls in the One More Last Chance High School. It's a hard-hitting, realistic novel, and it is a fast-paced novel. The latest thriller from Lois Duncan, who's always popular with this age group of readers, is The Twisted Window. It's a departure from her usual books of the supernatural, such as last year's Locked in Time. Her new book is a page-turner about Brad, a disturbed youth who convinces a lonely Tracy to help him rescue his younger sister, whom he believes was abducted by his stepfather. The twist is what really happened to Brad's sister. The Twisted Window will be a good book for reluctant readers. And I'd want to note here that also this weekend at Midwinters in San Antonio, they will also be choosing the best books for reluctant YA readers. In Invincible Summer by Jean Ferris, the female protagonist is Robin Gregory, a 17-year-old girl who discovers she has leukemia. Her poignant relationship with Rick, another leukemia victim she meets in the hospital, will leave no dry eyes at the end of this book. Isaac Campion by Janie Halker is a first-person narrative of a 96-year-old man who recalls the tragic death of his older brother and the revenge of his father. The relationship of the embittered father and his youngest son are carefully woven into this story. This is a sensitive book that will appeal to the mature reader. If fantasy is popular with your students, A Tale of Time City by Diana Wynne Jones will fascinate them. 11-year-old Vivian is sent to the country to escape the London bombings during World War II. But she's kidnapped by two time travelers who mistake her for the Time Lady. Their adventures in Time City involve trying to save the city by foiling the Time Lady, who has been wandering through time trying to alter history. Fantasy fans will enjoy Howl's Moving Castle, which was her last book that was nominated and accepted as the best book for young adults. En route to visit his father, Brian's small plane crashes in the Canadian wilderness in Gary Paulson's Hatchet. Armed only with a hatchet given to him by his mother, Brian must survive starvation, attacks by animals, and a devastating tornado before he is finally rescued. Hatchet is an adventure story of the first quality. Everyone has a Princess Ashley in their high school. In Richard Peck's newest book of teenage life, Chelsea is singled out by the beautiful, self-assured Ashley. Chelsea learns the difference between friendship and manipulation when a party ends with a tragic accident. Princess Ashley will certainly be considered one of the best books of 1987. Goodbye to Old Charlie by P.J. Peterson is a humorous book about Charlie, everybody's dependable pal. When his family moves to Northern California, Charlie sees his chance to change his image. But what image should he keep? Mysterious Chet, Cowboy Chuck, or Cool Chip? And why change his image at all? Well, to meet girls, of course. Reluctant readers will particularly enjoy this one. Now, when that student runs into the library at the last minute looking for a short book, I Only Made Up the Roses by Barber Ann Port will be an excellent choice. Cedra's mother is white and her stepfather is black. Folk tales, proverbs, and history told by her biracial family are interspersed throughout this short 114-page book. The Ruby and the Smoke by Philip Pullman has everything a mystery should: adventure, cutthroat villains, conspiracy, and blackmail. This cliffhanger involves 16-year-old Sally Lockhart's search for a valuable ruby left to her by her murdered father. Her search leads her to Victorian England's opium dens. This book is the first of a planned trilogy. This is also a book that was printed in England several years ago and was reprinted for an American audience, and I think you're going to see some success with this book. William Slater's books are favorites with science fiction fans, and The Boy Who Reversed Himself will be no exception. Laura discovers that Omar, the unpopular boy living next door, has the ability to travel into other dimensions and convinces him to take her there. But trouble arises when Laura wants to impress a handsome boy, Pete, and gets them trapped in the fourth dimension, and only Omar has the ability to rescue them. Simon Pure by Julian Thompson is a prime example why librarians should read more than one review for a book. This book has received praise as well as rejection. It's the story of Simon Storm, a gifted 15-year-old who enrolls at Riddle University only to find himself embroiled in the overthrow of the college administration. It's funny, witty, but some reviewers feel the satire is not enough. Thompson's last book, A Band of Angels, was selected as a best book for young adults for 1986, and it also received mixed reviews. This is one where you really need to read it and form your own opinion. High school students will be eager to read Downstream by John Rowe Townsend. 17-year-old Alan falls in love with his 23-year-old German tutor, Vivian, who rejects his advances. He discovers that Vivian and his father are having an affair and finds them in the boathouse together. His fury explodes, and he burns the boathouse and effigies of Vivian and his father. Downstream is a superb book about rites of passage. Cynthia Voigt continues the saga of the Tillerman family in her newest book, Sons from Afar. Brothers James and Sammy search for their merchant seaman father who abandoned their mother. None of the things they discover about him are good. Thoughtful readers will enjoy this story and will want to read Voight's Homecoming and Dicey's Song if they haven't already. Overweight Rita Formica falls in love at first sight with handsome Robert Swan in Fat, a Love Story by Barber. While attempting to lose weight, Rita enlists the help of her attractive friend Nicole to act as bait with disastrous results. She turns to 32-year-old Arnold Bromberg, who accepts her for what she is, and a relationship develops. This book is funny and outrageous, and young adults will love the fast-moving plot. These are but a few books that have been nominated, and an even smaller percentage of those that have been published during the last year. There's so many books out that it's impossible for librarians to read all of them, and that's why it's so important for you to recognize the journals that are available to you, and to read more than one journal, read book reviews in more than one journal. Many times our most read journals disagree with one another.